our journey. We've been talking about our 2018 honeymoon and we're doing a look back. And we talked about Bangkok, our first stop, our second stop, which was Bali. You can watch those videos up here. And our third stop on this trip was Singapore, which I enjoyed a lot. How about you?
I enjoyed it as well, but I think I would have enjoyed it more if I wasn't so burnt out from the rest of the trip.
That's something that we'll talk about, and something also look out for if you do a trip kind of like ours where you do multiple different stops and you're gone for a while. Even if you do the exact same stops as us, there's some things to look out for, and we'll talk about in a little bit. First, what were your first impressions like when you got there? Obviously, the airport is one of the most famous in the world.
Yeah, the airport, what I really like about it is that they're so efficient. Their TSA is so efficient. They work really quickly. They don't ask you like a million questions. They just check your passport and then you are on your way. And they had free candy at the TSA. Yeah, that's what my first impression was. And then after we got out of TSA, I was blown away by the cleanliness of the airport and how big it is actually. We got kind of lost actually in the airport because it was so big.
One of the highlights, I think, how smoothly everything went. We hailed an Uber really quickly, tapped it on the app. The driver arrived probably within the next minute or two. We hopped in and he was extremely helpful. And it was great to just get some insight. He just asked us about our trip. It was our first time there and he gave us a bunch of different recommendations, which was great. He also put some things in perspective as we were driving by some of the buildings. He's like, well, you could live here. It costs a ton of money.
Because it's near the water.
Exactly, it's by the water. And also to put things in perspective, he was talking about his car. He had something similar to like a Toyota Corolla. And he said if that was translated into US dollars, his car would cost something like 80K.
Nope.
We were kind of amazed by that.
Yeah, but he was really friendly and chatted it up and he telling us where to go, what to do.
Which was great. We already had like a map of some of the things that we wanted to do, and he gave us a couple more recommendations. Unfortunately, we didn't get to go to all of them because we only had about 2.5 days before we were done with our trip. What was really awesome is once we got out of the airport, got in the Uber, that whole period from when we landed to when we got to our hotel, which was in Little India, it took about an hour only. So by the time we got off the plane, we were in our hotel within about an hour and 15 minutes, which was something unheard of. We were just blown away by how quickly everything went and how smoothly everything went, because usually you expect disaster.
Singaporeans are efficient.
Yeah, that's one thing that the driver told us. He's always like, well, Singapore just wants to be number one.
They are number one in a lot of things.
That was something that was really helpful to know all that stuff ahead of time. So we opted to stay using our Hilton points. We used it to book the Hilton Garden Inn in Little India, which was great. There was a lot of food in the area. It was close to a lot of different things. We got to use the pool there. It wasn't as nice as the one that was in Bangkok, but it was a nice pool that we hopped in because it was really hot in Singapore. It was late November, early December, basically, and it was still 80 something, humid.
Yeah, but it was a nice hotel. It was really clean.
Yeah, and one thing that I like is that they have the phone entry, so you can unlock your hotel room using your phone, which is fun. But that's a Hilton feature.
Yeah.
Which is nice. So the first thing that we did, obviously, is that we really planned this trip as a food adventure because there's a lot of hawker stands, the food was relatively cheap, and the first thing that we did is we went to the closest hawker center near us.
So a hawker center is like a typical food court, except majority of it is outside. They have different stalls and then there's different tables in between the stalls, and people typically order from a couple different places and then they eat at their table with their friends or by themselves. Pretty good quality food too, as compared to a sit-down restaurant, but it's cheaper.
So we went to one right away. We were lucky enough to find seating, and we sat like next to the two most nicest ladies ever, which was really helpful. They were able to, guide us on what to order, where to go. So once again, within the first 2 hours of our trip, we're already getting a ton of recommendations, and people were extremely friendly there. I'm guessing they talked to us because we looked kind of out of place, like we didn't know what we were doing. But that's sort of like what happened when you travel. Lots of times you kind of expect people just to be like, oh, whatever, just leave them alone, mind your business. But they were really helpful. And they were really interested to hear about what we were interested in doing, what we had planned. It was really awesome, and it was fun to stay there and chat with them.
The next place we went to eat was the Newton Food Center, and this food center is pretty famous. This is the first place that Rachel and Nick from the movie Crazy Rich Asians, that's where they went to eat right when they landed in Singapore. And we went to eat there as well. The way that the Newton Food Center works is it's like a typical hawker center. They have lots of different options for you to choose from, but also you need to choose your table first, and they'll have a little number on the table. And when you order your food, you'll just let them know what number you're sitting at and they'll bring it to you. Super efficient. Yeah, so what we ate was we ordered some skewers, and then we ordered some shrimp skewers that were really bomb. And then we had some naan with curry from another stall, and all of that was really affordable and was so delicious. Yeah,
I think we only spent maybe 20 bucks. I feel like most of the time here, something like that would have cost, double that.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit pricier than some of the other food that we ate, but it was definitely worth it, and it was a great experience.
So Peter was an early riser, and he went out before I was ready to get out of bed. So he went and explored, and he brought back some coffee for us to get us ready for the day from Toastbox. The coffee was really good.
It's also really, really strong.
Yeah. And in Singapore, they don't call it coffee, they call it kopi. K-O-P-I. So we highly recommend going there for coffee. Then when we were ready to go out, we got our second breakfast at Ya-kun Kaya Toast. And we shared a little combo there. It came with sunny side up eggs with some sweet soy sauce and Kaya Toast with butter and some delicious kopi. It was the perfect, simple Singaporean breakfast. And then of course, there's a bunch of Michelin star restaurants in Singapore. And of course we had to go. First, we went to Hawker Chan, which is the cheapest Michelin star restaurant in the world, I think. They're known for their soy sauce chicken, and I thought it was okay.
We both thought it was just okay.
I think maybe the chicken in America is a lot different, and we're just used to really enlarged chickens in the United States. But the flavor was there, the flavor was delicious. I enjoyed it, but I personally do not think that it deserves a Michelin star. Yeah.
Yeah, but then also we went to the brick and mortar store. We didn't go to the original stand. That could be a difference. Maybe that could be a factor. The store isn't quite as good as the original location.
Yeah, I'm sure it was really, really good when the owner was making it.
Yeah, we also went like really early and there wasn't any line. I think we would be more disappointed if we waited in line for a long time, but once again, it was quick.
Yeah, and then also we had to go check out Anthony Bourdain's recommendation, Tian Tian Hainanese chicken rice. And they had Anthony Bourdain's picture on there when you were waiting in line. And we thought it was really good, really delicious. And of course, when in Singapore, eat Hainan chicken rice. And I think you can't go to Singapore and not eat Hainan chicken rice. It's really good.
Yeah. There's like two things. One of them is Hainan chicken rice and the other is the crab, but she can't eat crab.
Yeah.
So we didn't have
Spicy crab is their other delicacy. Yeah.
Okay.
And then our friend Brad also recommended this scissor cut curry restaurant in Little India where we stayed. We were able to get it takeout, and it came in a little package wrapped in paper. It was honestly so delicious, and I wished Peter had gotten two for us instead of one. Yeah.
And it was really awesome just to watch the way that they work. They just like chop it up real quick and then they serve it to you on that butcher paper and you're on your way. And it carried really well. And it also helps, I guess, it worked in our favor because it's hot there. Mm-hmm. And by the time I brought it back to the hotel, it was still really hot. Yeah, we didn't have utensils that time. So we had like makeshift utensils.
But that's because Indians, they eat with their fingers. Not used to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next was Bugis Street. What they have there is a ton of different stalls. There's a lot of hawker stands and things to buy, and I don't think we bought too much, but it was fun to look around because there were so many different things there. I think I ended up buying like a USB cable or something small like that because they had like a section for electronics and it was really cheap, so I figured, alright, might as well buy one.
And at that time, when we went, was salted duck egg was very, very popular in Singapore. And we saw these amazing salted duck egg chips, which we had no idea what they were. So we bought them and they were really delicious. A couple months later, they made its way to the US. But I'm proud to say we ate it first. It was pretty good.
Next, one thing that we really wanted to check out, obviously we didn't stay at this hotel, but it's one of the most iconic places in maybe all of Asia. Probably the most recognizable building within all of Singapore, which is the Marina Bay Sands. You've probably seen pictures and videos of people at the pool there. But we went there just to check it out. There's a mall near there, which is nice because AC, and it's always really humid and hot there. So we decided to check that out. That was pretty fun. We went around, I think we got some food there. There's a ton of different food options available there.
And bubble tea.
And bubble tea, of course. What was great is right near there, we could sort of lump a couple of different things to do at the time, is that we really want to check out the gardens by the bay. You remember that area from the movie Crazy Rich Asians again?
That's where they had their wedding. Man, that would have been a great place to have a wedding if you're rich.
Yeah. Super fancy.
Yeah.
But it was really cool to see. And there was an entry fee to get in there, but it wasn't too much. It was $20-something per ticket to get in there. We didn't do like the area where you're able to walk around on the top of it, but we would just walk through. We took a bunch of pictures.
They had a lot of stalls with food and desserts that you can buy too.
And they had a little Christmas thing there,
Yeah.
which was funny.
It was Christmas time in Singapore, and it was really nice. It was really decorative and really pretty.
Yeah. So that was fun to do. We walked around there and ate our food. We took some cool photos and really just enjoyed the scenery there. It was really, really interesting.
And it started to snow in Singapore.
Snow.
They had bubbles like shooting in the air after the light show.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it felt like snow.
Yeah. They had it all dressed up there for Christmas. I mean, we also went to Orchard Road, which is one of the main areas for shopping and fun and activities in Singapore.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Orchard Road was really, really decorative, and it was amazing how decorative it is for Christmas.
Yeah.
It's definitely very picturesque.
Yeah. It also messes with your brain because it's like 80 degrees at nighttime, but there's all these Christmas decorations. So that was very interesting. And the last thing that I was able to do, because like she said, I'm an early riser, is on our last day, I really wanted to go check out the Treetop forest, and I wanted to do a run there. So I ended up waking up at like 5 a.m. and taking a cab there, which was like about $20. It's a little bit north. It took about 15 to 20 minutes to get there, and it was still pitch dark. And the running area there, I only saw one other person. There's a huge lake there. It's really pitch black. You're basically running in a jungle. And I tried to take photos and videos there so I could show you guys, but it was pitch black. It was really scary. If I didn't know that Singapore was one of the safest places to be, I'd be really worried about getting lost in there or somebody coming out and slashing me to death. But luckily, I was able to make it out by around 6 something. The sun started coming up, I think around 6:30 or so. By that time, the sun came out, and I was trying to make my way to the bridge area, and I couldn't find it, but I encountered this older gentleman, and I asked him about it, and he said, "Here, let me show you." Of course, Singaporean people are some of the nicest, most awesome people, and we chatted it up. He showed me this back route that we were able to take. Unfortunately, the bridge didn't open until around 8 or 9 or something like that. I didn't have that much time to do that because we had the full day of activities for that day, and he's able to show me everywhere, and he had done that route so many times he knew exactly where to go. He said, "All right, this next spot has 127 steps." I was like, wow, that's great. crazy.
Wow, he counted it all.
Yeah. And it was like having a little tour guide, and I was able to see the back end of the bridge. Didn't get to walk on it, but it was cool to see. So that was a really, really interesting and memorable experience. And it's really awesome how friendly and hospitable all the people were there that we encountered. So all in all, that day, first I did the run, and we walked around everywhere. We took the train, but we walked a ton. By the end of the day, I'd pretty much done almost the full marathon and walked 22.39 miles throughout the entire day. So running and walking. So I probably ran about 5 miles, and the rest was walking. So I had quite a bit of caffeine to get me through the day, and it was worth it.
I would have walked a lot too had it not been humid. Humidity and I do not mix. Like, I get so grumpy.
Yeah. Yeah, so I went around the whole night. Even by the end of the night, I found an arcade to go play at. It was probably close to 10 or 11, but things were still open. It's a nice change from being in LA where nothing's open at nighttime. And then the last thing to do was head back to the airport.
Yeah, we got there early and we were able to explore and check in early as well. They have a theater there, which was playing like a Marvel movie at the time. We got to see a couple of gardens that were inside the airport. There was this outdoor sunflower garden, which was so beautiful. They have a hotel there, which I didn't see. And then we had lunch there. All in all, it was really fun. They have 7-Eleven inside the Singapore airport. And of course, we had to buy some last minute snacks to bring home. Yeah.
Also because we knew that right away that we were heading to go see our friends and for their wedding. So we saw all of our friends, passed out some of the snacks so that they could try.
Yeah, definitely reserve some time to go exploring in the airport.
Yeah, and it was really awesome. One last thing, because I checked in on Twitter, letting everybody know that I was at the airport. The airport actually tweeted at us and told us to have a great stay, which was awesome. Everybody's friendly. So we hope you enjoyed our adventure. It was really fun for us to look back at our adventure 2 years ago. It was really wild and it took us a really long time to recover from, but it was definitely worth it. And that's something that we definitely recommend for you on your honeymoon. If there's anything that we missed or if there's anything that you're planning, let us know in the comments. Otherwise, we will see you in our next video.
Bye!